Hey guys, we are in the basement and today guys, on this episode of John's Arcade, well guys, this is it. Part number 7. And by the way, iRobot, the PCB was just prepared by my friend Andy, so that will be back within this week, so that will be up again soon. We'll talk about that once I get the PCB. And also, I did a little bit more tinkering with the Radical, and if you guys follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I kind of posted a little video and stuff, but I basically changed out those LEDs on the skateboard, because before I had yellow frosted LEDs on the little, you see the little like progress meters, whatever you want to call them, and they were kind of orangey and dull and didn't look very good. So I replaced those with the non-ghosting premium coin taker warm LEDs, and these are just straight up LEDs with no like lens over them, no diffusion, and I think that looks a lot better. What do you guys think? And I know it's kind of dark when it's not lit, but it's supposed to be like that because there's like a little like plastic tray that's kind of over the LEDs. Anyway, this video is not about Radical. And by the way, if you guys missed the Radical LED video, go back and watch it. It was a lot of fun, and I tell you, I've been playing the heck out of Radical since I put those LEDs in. Totally worth it, my God. So anyway, what are we doing in this video? Well guys, we're going back to the garage. We are going back to the garage. Oh, and also, I put some Mylar on that game because there was a little spot in the shooter lane that was worn. I put these little Mylar stickers over that. And also on the toilet bowl, the ball goes down and drops and hits the play field. I put a piece of Mylar right there too. Anyway, enough of that. So guys, this is it, part number 7 of the Mortal Kombat Restore. Now in this video, I want to take a break from the monitor, okay? We're gonna work on the cabinet today. We're gonna start prepping it and stripping it and getting it ready for artwork, okay? And this is gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna be a couple videos before we're done with the cabinet prep work. So this is kind of the first of those videos. So anyway, enough of that. Let's just go to the garage and get to work on the Mortal Kombat 2. All right, guys, we are back in the garage, and yes, we're gonna work on the Mortal Kombat 2. I'm pretty excited. It's been a while, hasn't it? All right, so let's kind of review, because the last few Mortal Kombat videos, we were working on this stupid monitor. This is a Hantrax Polo monitor. We replaced all the capacitors, the flyback, the hot, and it's still not working. The monitor is in shutdown. We have no HV, no high voltage, and I don't know what's wrong with it. So in this video here, we're gonna step away from this monitor. I am not gonna give up on it. We're gonna revisit it in at least one more video and see if we can fix it. If not, I might send it out to get repaired. I know I kind of mentioned that a couple videos ago. A lot of you guys said, yeah, you know what, John, just send it out, move on with your life. And that's kind of how I'm feeling. But we'll do one more video, but just not this video here, because I want to make some progress on this game in this video. I want to attack the cabinet, and really, mostly in this video, I want to strip all of this because the sides were painted black. Actually, let's kind of review, because when I got this game, I think I picked it up on Craigslist for like $50. It was basically just an empty cabinet. I think the only thing it came with was the marquee. The control panel was toast. There was no artwork. It had a ton of extra holes, I think. And then like my friend Daniel down in Georgia sent me a bunch of parts. Alex Smith sent me a PCB, and some other viewers sent me some harnesses. So I've managed to get most of the parts, and thanks to everyone that helped me. So I think we have everything to put this thing back together, but the cabinet is looking pretty sorry. Now, I tried removing the black paint with a magic eraser and alcohol, and that was working to reveal the artwork underneath. However, it looks like someone like sanded the MK2 artwork down before they painted it black, which is a major bummer. So we have no artwork underneath here. So what I want to do is I want to strip this cabinet completely to bare wood, the sides, and then I'm going to need to get some new side art, probably from Rich at This Old Game. And obviously we're not going to apply the side art in this video because I don't have it, but what I do want to do is strip this whole thing down to bare particle board That way we're kind of ready for the side art, which we'll put on in a video a few weeks from now. And by the way, it is fall here, like literally fall. So we have a finite amount of time to get this done this year before it gets too cold. And I'm kind of optimistic that maybe we can finish this before it gets unbearable out here and get this game into the basement. Yeah, I want to bring us to the basement. I'm actually really considering moving the freezer in the basement to make room for this and maybe one other game. Because I think if I move the freezer to the other side of the basement, I think I can get 2 more games in the basement. And I want this to be one of them this year. Hopefully, we'll see. So anyway, why don't we just kind of get to work here. So what I did is I went to Tractor Supply, a hardware store, and I picked up this, okay? And this is premium stripper, okay? This is serious stuff. I used this on a control panel overlay. I don't remember which one it was. It was a year or 2 ago. In one of the videos, we used this stuff. And this is like the strongest stripper I've ever used. So I want to basically spray this on the sides and just remove all of the vinyl and everything to bare wood, hopefully as quickly as we can. And we got to be careful with this stuff because it burns. If we get that in our eyes or on our hands, it's the real deal here. It just kind of starts eating through your skin. So I did pick up some gloves. So I don't want to mess around with it. And we'll probably put some safety glasses on. But before we can do that, though, I got to kind of get all the parts off this game. Because I want to lay the cabinet on its side. And really, we need to remove the control panel completely. Because you could see here, this is interfering with the sides here, so we can't really put any side art on here unless we get this piece off, and I got to figure out how this is all secured down here. So actually, let's just kind of take a look in here and see what's going on. Now this overlay is new. We put that on. My friend Daniel sent me that. That's a repro, and those are new buttons and joysticks I got from, I think, Paradise Arcade. But we got to figure out how to get all of this off, and I think right here, I think it's just bolted on. If we look in here, I'm hoping that if we remove these, this whole thing just comes off in one piece. Yeah, there's 2 here, 1, 1, 1, 1. See that? So hopefully if we remove those, the whole thing just comes off. So let me get my socket set here, and let's just kind of go to town on it. The weather is so great right now, too. There's like no humidity. It feels good out here, but it is October. So I have until about end of November. Can we get this done? You know, and I also really want to work on the Bronco too. So we'll see what happens. I hope this thing comes off nice and cleanly. Okay, so just one more here. All right, so all those carriage bolts are off. Will it come off now? Let's see. No. All right, so what's holding this thing on? I've never done this before, so I don't see what could be holding this on. Oh, nothing. Paint. All right. Okay, so that's off. Not too bad. Pretty simple, really. All right, so the control panel is off, and then we're gonna have to decide what we want to do about the sides of the control panel, because you know it's got the Midway on the sides. Do I get repro for that? I probably should, right? This should be kind of a complete top-down restore, shouldn't it? Okay, so that's off. So now I want to start removing all of these parts and the marquee and all that stuff. And then the front of the cabinet, I need to decide what we're going to do about that too, because we've got some extra holes here for lock bars that we're going to have to fill in, and then we're going to have to paint this whole front again. And what's interesting too is that this wood is flush with the T-molding here, so I don't really think I can use laminate on the front. I did think about it. We might be able to laminate the front. I think that would look pretty good, wouldn't it? I've got some black laminate over there. I wonder if I could pop this piece of wood off. Maybe. It's kind of glued to the coin box down there. All right, so anyway, let's kind of just get to work here and get all these parts off. Let me get my nut driver and stuff, and we'll go to town. All right, so let's take this lower bracket off in the glass. Okay, we're gonna have to paint this bracket too. Let's pop the glass off. So the glass here, I want to carefully just lay on top of this stuff. It's tempered and it will explode. All right, so there's that. And then I do want to take off all of this stuff up here. And we've got a bunch of security screws and then this like carriage bolt here. Let's take this off. And this speaker grill, let's see, we have, I guess we can leave this on here for now. Let's pull it off. I'll probably replace all of these little screws with those new security screws I bought on eBay. Drop the bit. It's weird, there's like this weird single little carriage bolt. I could tell that we're gonna want to paint this thing anyway. Feels like there's too many screw holes in here. Did it originally have that many screw holes? Maybe it did. Okay, so the last one, for some reason, is a carriage bolt. Oh, I see why, because there's a ground wire on it. So let's see if we can grab my pliers and just kind of loosen that up a little bit. See this right here? On the top, they have a ground wire going to this. Okay. All right, so I've got the nut off, but it doesn't want to kind of go here. Let me see if we can just grab a little hammer and give it a little help here. Does not want to come off. I got one more screw here. All right, so there it goes. Boy, that does not want to go. Huh. That does not want to come. Ah, here it comes. Boy, that's in there. Okay, so now, there we go. Oh, interesting. So it looks like we have like a tweeter and like a mid-range. I don't know. That's kind of cool. You see that? Is that like a tweeter and a woofer? Huh. That's pretty neat. So we definitely don't want to mess with that. Okay, so that's that. I'm just looking up here. Everything looks kind of original and okay. And if we look in the back, we could see that, you know, all the wires and everything were cut, which is kind of a bummer, but see that? So these are all, this wire bundle goes up to the light and the speakers and the power switch, and that was all cut. And actually, this right here might be the speaker wires on this side. Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? If we were to follow that up. Yeah, those are the speaker wires right here. So that kind of comes up here and then goes to the speaker. And then the larger wires all go to the switch and the light. So we're gonna have to make sense of that later when we go to wire up the game with the harness and all that. And I'll show you the harnesses I have. I think Daniel sent me this one right here, and then I also have this one over here, which another viewer sent me. So I think we have enough stuff to figure this out, but it's definitely gonna take some thought. Okay, so what should we do now? I think we should put the game on its side. I guess we could remove that coin door. Now I've gotten another coin door too from my friend Daniel, so we're not going to use this coin door because it's been stripped of everything. We'll use the lower one, but we definitely want to fill these holes in, and we'll probably rattle can the front with some black after we fill the holes in with dowels and a little bit of Bondo. But I tell you what, why don't we let's attack the sides first. And then we'll move on to the front, because this, I think, is going to be kind of a bear. So let's go ahead and put this game on its side. Game's definitely light when there's nothing in it. Okay, so we're going to have to address kind of the edges and all that. And I've been thinking a lot about this, because the last few restores we did, in particular the Quantum, when we stripped the cabinet to bare particle board, we put laminate on it before we put the side art on. I don't think I'm going to do that in this video. I think that in this series what I want to do is put some clear coat on the particle board and try to get that as smooth as possible. I want to do that for a couple of reasons. Mostly to be frugal. And also because that is kind of how it was done originally. I did do the laminate like on the Quantum just because that was such a special game, and I wanted to go the extra mile and ensure that artwork was absolutely flawless on the sides. Not that this game is any less, but I do kind of want to see how we do with this if we just keep the bare particle board and put some kind of clear lacquer over it and then the side art. I just want to see if we can pull that off and make it look really good, because that is pretty much what was done at the factory. So okay, so what we're going to do is I bought 2 cans of this stripper here, and we do have to be careful here because this stuff eats through skin and eyeballs and all that good stuff. So I'm going to wear safety glasses. I'm going to wear rubber gloves. I'm gonna go the extra mile here because I don't want to get hurt. And we're gonna end up with a pretty big mess on our hands here because this is a big piece of real estate that we're stripping. And I kind of want to remove the T-molding. I wonder if we should do that right now. Yeah, I think we should. So let's pop the T-molding off of this side. All right, so the T-molding's off right here. And then we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna handle this over here, because we have this kind of step down, all right? And so what do? Do we rattle can that area? Kind of think we do. I'm kind of thinking that we're gonna rattle can all the edges of this game before we put the artwork on. We'll just kind of rattle can the perimeter of the sides. So let's pull that off. feel like a serial killer in these gloves. All right. Okay. So this looks like, does the artwork go to here? I'm wondering about that. All right, well, let's get into it. I'm gonna put the glasses on. All right, and we're just gonna spray this and see what happens. Let's read the instructions here. Water chemical resistant gloves. Okay, it says the word goggles. Shake well. Hold can in upright position. 12 to 14 inches. Point arrow on top of blah blah blah. Even coat a remover in one small area, 9 square feet. Allow time for remover to work. Do not rush job. Test a small area. Scrape loosened off. So it says within 15 minutes, and it says to do a smaller area at a time, just for safety concerns. So let's kind of see how this sprays on here. So we'll just kind of do the whole bottom right now. So I hope one can do this whole side. This stuff's like $8 a can too, by the way. All right. And the only reason I'm doing this extreme method here is because we've determined the original artwork is hosed. So we can't save it. So I'm going to try to remove all this in one swoop. I guess we'll just kind of hit this right here. I've got some black vinyl too we could put on this ledge. We'll see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna just do this half of the cabinet, and then we'll just like let it sit, and then we'll come back and see if we can scrape all this off. All right, let's let that sit, and I'll come back in like 15 minutes and we'll see if we can scrape it right off. Ugh. Okay, it feels like 15 minutes, and I don't get the sense this is doing anything. So I'm taking a brush here, and I'm just gonna kind of spread it around a little bit more even. Just to really make sure we have nice even coverage here. It's weird because I've used this stuff before and this stuff was pretty serious. I'm trying to avoid as much manual labor here as possible. I want this stuff to do all the work for us. Okay. Maybe that'll help a little bit more. I'm going to kind of just keep go a little higher here. I want it to basically eat up the vinyl. Did we use this stuff on the Quantum? I'm trying to remember. I remember getting the Quantum vinyl off was a bear. So let's kind of come in here now. I'm trying to be as careful as I can here because this stuff really is toxic. Okay, let's let this sit here. I'm going to come back. But we basically got it on the whole cabinet now. I'm curious if I were to take my scraper down here, what would happen? Yeah, it's starting to come up. Yeah, look at that. So it is turning it into gelatin, which is I want. But I'm going to let it sit just a little bit longer because I really want it to just kind of fall off. I'm just going to kind of just put a little bit more on. I don't like how it sprays out. All right, whatever. I'm gonna let this sit. And then we'll come back probably in about 15 minutes at least. And hopefully this vinyl just falls off of here. I'm going crazy with this stuff now. All right, let's let this sit, and then we'll come back and see if we can get this vinyl off in one shot. All right, it's been, I don't know, at least 20 minutes or so. So let's see what happens here. Can we get this off easily? And the answer is yes. Okay, this stuff works great. This is exactly what I want. So I gotta be careful though, how we throw this out. This is a big, dangerous mess of chemical gooiness. Doing exactly what I wanted it to do though. And I do have my safety glasses on because this stuff is really serious, guys. Okay. Still definitely requires a bunch of elbow grease here. Some of it a little bit stubborn. I'm trying to basically get the perimeter, I think, knocked down. Oh yeah, see, this is vinyl on here. This is some nice wood they used here. So I think maybe we'll use some new vinyl on these parts here and then in the front. Okay, all right, I'm gonna keep going here. Basically just taking my scraper and we're trying to get all this off. Okay, we're done. For the most part, that was pretty easy. Couple stubborn areas, like over here and here, but I was able really to pull most of it off. And I'm gonna throw all this in this box here. I just don't want it all loose in my garbage can. So I think what we're gonna do right now is do the other side real quick. And obviously there's some spots here that we're gonna have to really go over, but maybe when we sand the cabinet, I can get some of this off, because the stuff on the edges here, I think that I didn't have the stripper to the edges as much as in the center. So I gotta really make sure that when we do the other side, we do that. And then we have all these carriage bolts here, and there's artwork underneath them. So when we put the new artwork on, we're gonna have to remove these carriage bolts and then put them through the artwork. So I'm just gonna leave some of these little areas that still have some adhesive just as they are, and then we'll go back and touch it up after. And mostly when we go to sand it and clear coat it. So I'm gonna lift the cabinet up, and then we'll do the other side, and then I'm gonna actually sweep up all the loose pieces. We really should clean this side with some Simple Green just to get the chemical off, just so we can handle it. Well, let's lift this thing up. All right, I'm gonna sweep up real quick and just get all the little pieces up and all that. Hang on. All right, we're all swept up here. So let's put the cabinet on the other side. And we'll just kind of rinse and repeat here. All right, I'm gonna have to change my gloves. These gloves are, look at that. They're tearing pretty easily. So we're gonna do the other side exactly like we did the other side. And I wanna make sure I really get the stripper to the end. And we gotta remove the T-molding again. I think that's the right move. I can see we got a bunch of Bondo stuff to do on the edges. All right. Okay, so let's put some gloves on, and we're gonna do this side just like we did the other side. And we'll use our paintbrush again. And I think that letting this sit for about a half hour is probably the right move. Get these stupid gloves on. Okay. All right, let's spray. And again, we're going to do this just like we did the other side, including this little area right here. I wonder if I want to strip the vinyl off the front too, and then we can just maybe get all new vinyl everywhere, or I don't know if rattle canning it's the right way to go. So, all right, guys, I'm going to do this side exactly the same way we did the other side. All right, guys, we have it all sprayed down. So this time, I sprayed the whole thing. I took my brush and kind of evened it out. And then I went around the perimeter with the spray, made sure I got the spray all the way to the edges. And then I covered the whole thing again with the spray can. So we're gonna let it sit for probably 20 to 30 minutes. I want this stuff to really eat up that vinyl and the glue, and then we'll just yank it off. So, all right, I'll come right back. All right, guys, we're back. It's been about 20 minutes, 30, I don't know. Let's see what happens here. Oh, God, yeah. So definitely going to the edges here was the right move. I want to put my goggles on here. This stuff scares me. Put my safety glasses on. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this off. Wow. Yeah, definitely make sure you paint the edges and really put a lot on the edges. So let's pull this off. So I'm going to go ahead now and just get all of this off. Okay, we got it all off. For the most part, came off in one piece here. And we've got some remnants, some stubborn spots here. I can probably just leave it for now, and when we sand this thing down, we'll address the little pieces that are kind of left. I mean, definitely doing the edge first, like releasing the edge all the way around with the putty knife, and then pulling it all off totally works. It's got a lot of little stubborn spots. Okay, so we're pretty much done. I think what I want to do now is stand the cabinet up and just kind of clean it, just so I'm not handling the stripper. Oh God, these gloves suck. All right, so let's all right, let's stand the game up, and then we'll clean up a little bit. That wasn't bad at all, really. Oh wait, we didn't strip that one section right here. Hang on, I gotta strip this. We did not do that. Let me get a new pair of gloves on. This is going pretty quick, really. I definitely gotta get that side art ordered. So I've got some black vinyl over there. I wonder if we could use that right here, just like they did originally. We could try that out. Okay, let's get that piece of vinyl off right here. It's a very nice piece of wood right here. Okay. Alright, so let's stand the game up. We'll just kind of clean up a little bit. Because we've got like stripper everywhere. Let's take our putty knife here and just kind of see if we can take care of some of the loose ends here. So we definitely got to sand this. There's a lot of little pieces just kind of hanging out on there. Overall, though, it looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to just kind of sweep up the mess and come right back. Hang on. All right, so I want to take some mean green here, and I'm just going to spray the whole game down and just wipe it up because I just don't want to handle this cabinet knowing there might be adhesive everywhere. So I'm going to just wipe the whole thing down. Did I say adhesive? I meant stripper. I just want to make sure all the stripper's off the cabinet. What's wrong with this thing? I got a bad bottle. All right, let's wipe down this side here. Let's get some paper towel. All right, I'm gonna keep going here. I'm just gonna spray the whole game down with simple green and clean it up and just make sure that it's not, that I'm not feeling that stripper when I touch it. Because I don't really want to handle this game until I know all the adhesive's gone. All right, I'll come right back. All right, guys, we're all clean. I wiped the whole thing down with simple green. All around. So I think right now I want to address the front of the cabinet, okay? And the sides, we're gonna have to do a little bit more to them because there's still some remnants of the side art in places. And what I ultimately want to do here is remove all the carriage bolts, like these right here, okay? And we're gonna sand the whole thing smooth, and then we're gonna Bondo the edges as needed, and then really make sure we have a nice, smooth surface. And then I want to get some kind of a a lacquer or some kind of a clear that we could put over this prior to the side art. But for now, I want to address the front because we've got some extra holes here, okay? And we got to figure out how we're going to handle this whole panel here. We might rattle can it, but I need to get the coin door off, okay? And so let me get my, we need to get the coin door and then also these giant carriage bolts that used to have a lock bar at some point. And I want to fill those in and Bondo that stuff. But let me get my tools here. And let's see if we can get this stuff off. So this is rather deep. Okay. So there's some nuts on the inside here. They're about 7/16. Okay. It's kind of interesting. I'm looking at the wood they used to build the coin box, and it's got some artwork on it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's from a pinball machine. I'll show you guys in a second here. But let me get these 4 carriage bolts off. There's 2. So that should just fall off, literally. So let's put all the carriage bolts in our little bowl here. Okay, so we need to get the lower one off. So let's go ahead and get the bottom one off the same exact way. It's kind of tight in here. Oh boy. How am I going to do that? Huh. So this one, what the heck? So the top one I can't even get to. I have to get a box wrench, I think. I'm wondering how hard it'd be to pop this piece of wood off. Be kind of nice to laminate this whole thing. All right, so there's one right here that I can't get to because of the coin box. Look at this. So, look at that. And by the way, look at the artwork down there. So I don't know what they used. Is that Indiana Jones? Kind of looks like a pinball machine, doesn't it? It does look like Indiana Jones with that orange. I don't know. There's some over here too. What game is that? Shadow? Terminator? It's interesting. They used some spare wood, probably scraps from a pinball machine, to make this. It's kind of cool. Alright, I gotta figure out how to get this one out of here. Let me see if I have a box wrench that we can use real quick. Hang on a sec. Okay, I actually broke it loose with my needle nose pliers. And now I can just kind of get that off by hand. It's really tight. I don't know how the heck they did this. All right, there we go. All right. So the lower coin door we will be using, so we gotta save that one. All right, so now we gotta get the lock bolts off. And it appears that they're in a peculiar spot. At least the bottom ones are. Let's see if we can get the top ones off first. They are not on hand tight. Let me get my channel locks. See if we can break those nuts. Okay, there's one. And let's break the other one over here. Okay. All right, now let's get them out. Okay, some serious security on there. Get my hammer. Alright, so that one's off. So now we gotta get the two on the bottom, and they're really in there. They're in a weird spot. Yeah, Jesus. I wonder if we can loosen it from the front. Boy, that's in a tough spot. I got my, maybe I can get a screwdriver, and then we can break it while I hold on the inside with, so I'm gonna try to hold on to the nut. All right. Jesus. You bastards. That is in such a hard spot, guys. Let me show you what I'm trying to do. So they put the carriage bolt right there, okay, and right there, and it's mega tight. I almost got to maybe get inside the cabinet, kind of, and work my way. All right, let me get in there and really try to break that free. Hang on, it's really tough to film. All right, I got them. I broke them free with a deep socket, so not too bad now. Okay, I got the nut off. All right, I'm still trying to get this thing off. I've got the socket on there kind of locked on it, and I'm just taking my giant screwdriver that I use. Oh, shit. Well, I just broke it. that thing was rusted on there or something. The bolt just broke. Good. Okay, so that's that. Let's throw this stuff out. And then we need to get this one off right here. Okay. All right, so what's holding this piece of wood on here? So we've got a couple carriage bolts up here. I'm just wondering if it's possible to easily remove this piece of wood. I think we're going to leave it on. Let me get my tools out of there. We're going to put the game on its back right now, and then we're going to address these holes. Yeah, let's do that real quick. Let me grab the tools. All right, so let's put the game on its back. Okay. We should also put some new leg levelers on here. That one in the back is missing. Okay, so let's take a look here. Not too bad. So this thing has vinyl on it, doesn't it? So I'm wondering if we can put vinyl on this thing. We should probably strip this and then put new vinyl on or laminate. Laminate would look really hot, but just not sure how we'd be able to cut it to. Okay, well either way we gotta address these holes here. So let me grab some dowels. Let me see what sizes I have. So I've got a couple of different sizes. So this is the size I'm going to use. So we're going to have to drill the hole a little bit larger. Alright, so I'm going to need this saw. And we need our drill bits. Okay, so So 1/2 inch. Boy, that feels a little bit too big. Yeah, that might be okay. Let me get my drill. We'll try one hole. I feel like we've done this exact thing a gazillion times on this channel. It's funny how often you encounter these stupid holes in the front. My battery's low. Let's see. Yeah, that's perfect. charge my... Okay, that's perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and drill all these out. I'm gonna have to charge the battery, hang on. All right, while the battery's charging, let's go ahead and start doing this first one here. So I'm just gonna cut this nice and flush. Actually, no, let's take a piece bigger than we need. Okay. And then we're gonna glue this guy in here. All right, so let's take our glue. I'm just gonna glue the hell out of this thing. And we really don't want to have too much excess glue because this stuff turns into cement when it dries, so it's very hard to sand. So I'm going to really wipe off the excess. I use way too much. And I left quite a bit off there, and I'm going to take my saw and we'll cut it relatively flush after it dries. And then we're going to Bondo it and sand it completely flush when we're done. I'm still wondering if I want to strip this vinyl off of here. I'm pretty sure I have a roll of vinyl over here that we use for the iRobot. I mean, what do you guys think? Should we rattle can it or vinyl it? Here's the vinyl I have. I think we should use this for the front. After we Bondo this, sand it smooth, we'll try this. If it doesn't work, we could just yank it off. But I think this will be really nice in the front. And we'll just, I guess should we strip the old vinyl off? Yeah, I think we probably should, right? Well, let's do this first. I suppose we don't want to Bondo until we get the old vinyl off, though. Yeah. That's okay. I'm going to proceed with the dowels, and we can just remove the vinyl around it, because we're going to have to fill in all these areas. I'm kind of wondering if I want to quickly remove the vinyl right now and strip this to wood. I kind of do. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that out. All right, we're going to remove the vinyl. We're going to strip again. We're just going to leave that dowel right there, and I'll work around it. All right, let's get our gloves back on. Because I think if we strip this off, sand the heck out of it, it'll be pretty much how it was done at the factory. And I don't think this is going to be too hard to vinyl. It's a nice height to work at, too. All right. Spray this thing again. Get the edges first. And I think we'll use vinyl on those little sides too. Alright, so what I'll do real quick is take my brush and we'll just kind of get a nice even coat everywhere, and then I'll come back. I need to put my goggles on. I'm suddenly scared. This stuff scares the hell out of me. Where are my glasses? Where are they? Oh, over there. Okay. All right, and I'm going to spray a little bit more on there. Just get the edges first. So 2 cans of this was $16, and it's enough to do the whole game. They had like a big liquid, like 2-gallon jug of this for $25. I kind of like the spray. The other stuff was like a liquid you had to apply. It was same brand, but it was in a liquid form that you would have to apply with a brush. I guess we are still using a brush, right? Alright, so I'm going to let this sit for 20 minutes, and our battery's charging. Actually, while this is drying right here, let's address the leg leveler. I guess not drying while it's doing its thing. Alright, let's take a look at that leg leveler in the front. So we're missing one on the bottom right here. And these are pretty rusted. I think we'll replace all of these. And this one's bent. Yeah, these are in sorry shape. So let me get my channel locks. And I guess we'll just replace all 4 of them while the game is on its back. So leg levelers are one of those things I try to always have on hand. And when I bring a new game home and it's still in my car on its back, and if it needs leg levelers, that's usually the time I change them, is when it's in the car and before I remove it. Damn. These things are really in there. Come on. These things are hosed. Come on. going on here? What is this thing, a foot long? My God. Look at that. That is like excessively long. That's like for a pinball machine. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of them off. I'll come back. Okay, I got them all off, and it was incredibly annoying, but here's the new ones. I just buy these on eBay. I used to try to like buy the carpet slider ones, and those would usually break, so I just buy the standard ones these days, and I usually just put the nut the same height on all of them, okay, which is all the way to the bottom, and then I just tighten them all the way down. I feel like the thread on here, I feel like the leg levelers that were in here, you know what? These should not go all the way down, I can see right now. Because there's a piece of wood here. So let's go ahead and adjust them all to roughly the same height with the nut. And then we're going to use that nut as kind of like the stop. Right about there. I'll do the same for all of them. And we could do micro adjustments to this once we get it in the basement if it's a little wobbly. Okay. And I'm just going to use that nut as a guide to where to stop. And hopefully it doesn't move too much when I'm tightening this down. Okay. Right there. Yeah, these threads are tight. Okay, I'm really banging my fingers up. So, all right, we got the top two on. I'll go ahead and put the bottom two on and I'll come back. Okay, I got them all in. So let's move on and continue with the top here. Let's see if we can get this off. And the answer is yes, very easily. Some super nice wood they used here. This is a very well-made cabinet. This seems like some premium wood, like cabinet grade. All right, I'm gonna keep going here and we'll get this all off. I gotta get my glasses too, I realize. Hang on. pretty annoying, to be honest. Seemed like it was harder to do than the sides. I think because I didn't let it sit nearly as long. On the sides, I let the stripper sit on there for a good half hour. And I only think I let it sit on here for like maybe 15 minutes. Which is what the can says, by the way, so. But let's clean this up a little bit. And then when we sand this thing down, we'll get rid of all these remnants and marks and black and all that. But we got almost all of it off. And I have to remove these carriage bolts. Okay, that's good enough for now. Okay, so why don't we get our drill? The battery should be good enough. Let's pull it out of the charger here. So let's go ahead and drill out the rest of these. Okay. So now we can put our dowels in here. Grab my saw. Where did I put that? Over there? Okay, so let's cut us some pieces here that we can use. Oh, God. Hang on. Okay. There's one. There's two. There's three. All right, so I'm definitely making them bigger than I need them to be. Okay. So let's get our wood glue. And we'll just glue these down. And I'm going to wipe off the excess. Okay. And then let's go do the other ones and then we'll clean it up. Okay, and we've got the one in the back here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my paper towel and just get off all of the extra glue because again, when that stuff dries, it's pretty much unsandable. And you can sand it, but it's not easy. Okay, so that's that. Well, guys, we're gonna stop here. I'm out of time. It's getting late here on a Sunday, and I need to edit the video and eat dinner. My weekend is over. So I think we got kind of a lot done, a lot of prep work, really. We're gonna let that glue dry overnight, and then when we come back, we're probably gonna address that kick plate, maybe put the vinyl on there and all that. But we pretty much have a blank canvas now. We still have a lot more prep work to do because I didn't really remove all the vinyl, did I? Because we got some pieces here and there. So let's take a look here. So we have a very ugly blank canvas, but it is our blank canvas. So the kick plate, I think, is gonna go pretty smooth. We're gonna put vinyl on it. I think it's gonna be a lot easier to work with than the laminate. And I think the next video, we'll probably cut these dowels down, Bondo everything in, sand the whole thing, make it smooth, and then put our vinyl on here, and then cut out the holes for the coin door and the T-molding. And then I gotta order the side art, but I want to prep more of the side art in the next video. So anyway, guys, that was it for today. Why don't we, let's go down to the basement. We'll do some viewer mail. We'll hang out. What do you guys think? So, all right, guys, let's go down to the basement. Woot. All right, guys, there you have it. That was part number 7. You know, it's hard to believe we've already done 7 parts of the Mortal Kombat. It doesn't feel like it. I feel like I've only done like 2 videos prior to this, but I guess we haven't. So the cabinet's getting somewhere. And by the way, once iRobot is fixed this week, which I'm very excited about, the only game that's down here, the only game that's not functioning is the Firefox over there. So we're gonna have to address that, and I guess I'm gonna maybe hold off on that till the winter. Because obviously we have very limited time to work on the Mortal Kombat 2, and I do want to work on the Mustang, the Bronco Pinball 2 before it gets too cold. But I'm kind of on a mission in a way. I don't. Maybe I'm hopeful here, but I really want to finish that thing before it snows. And I'd like to bring the Mortal Kombat 2 down here. I've been thinking a lot about that Mortal Kombat 2, like where it's going to go. Because I did kind of originally think, well, maybe I will bring it to one of the hangars, but I kind of don't want to do that. I want to bring the Mortal Kombat down here. I want to play it and enjoy it. I'd like to get good at it. It would be a game I think that would be fun to play with my friend Matt. So we'll see. I want to move that fridge. We'll talk about that. So, all right, let's do some viewer mail. If you guys want to participate in the viewer mail segment, you need to email them to me at john@johnsarcade.com. And actually, before we do the viewer mail, I want to tell you guys, you know, I'm going to be in Manchester, UK here really soon. Like, October 14th and 15th is the Play Expo Manchester. Now, James Brindle and the crew are having me come out there, and we're going to do all kinds of videos. James Brindle brings a ton of games to this show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys are going to be at the show, look out for me October 14th and 15th. Now, I'll post more details. I'm probably on my Facebook page and Twitter. So be sure to follow me on Facebook and also Twitter. Facebook, it's John's Arcade. On Twitter, it's BLKDOG7, Black Dog 7. And then also Saturday night, which I believe is October 15th, we're going to be at Arcade Club there in Manchester with Whitney, and then also my friend Alex doing the Sky Skipper reveal. So it's going to be an exciting trip. So you UK guys better find me. It's going to be fun. All right, let's do some viewer mail. Again, if you guys want to participate in the viewer mail, email them to me at john@johnsarcade.com. Can be a question, a comment, whatever. First one here's from Tony. John, I emailed you after the last pinball LED video and asked you about that clicking noise when all the GI flashes at once, okay? So I just started watching part 2, and as you lifted the playfield to remove the balls at 10:47, the machine did that flashing clicking again. Can you please let me know what is causing that, if it's natural or not? You've never mentioned it, so it leads me to believe it's normal, but it's very loud and annoying. Please let me know, Tony. So Tony, you know, the game, every now and then the game has the GI go on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off for an effect, and I believe there's some relays under the playfield that caused that clicking noise. I would say that's 1,000,000% normal. I'm pretty sure there's some relays that do that, and that basically cut the power like every half a second, so it gives like this crazy light show. So Tony, that I believe to be 1,000% normal. I've heard that on my other games. This one's from Sarah. Someone left a comment on my article that the Galaxian 3 at Fun World was removed. Now, guys, you remember I went to this place called Fun World in New Hampshire a year or two ago, and I did a video there. And that place in New Hampshire had a Galaxian 3 theater, which is this massive Namco Laserdisc Galaxian game that you go inside of, and multiple people go inside of. It's like the size of a garage. And it was like one of like 2 or 3 in the whole world. And a lot of people were asking me about that, but when we went there, it was not working. Now, Sarah says that it was removed, and she said this was not supposed to happen as they were trying to fix the game. The last I talked to them, if this is the case, I hope Jeff got it, which is a mutual friend of ours. If it was removed, I did the best I could to keep it out of the dumpster. They were talking to me, but they stopped talking to me even though I tried to ask them again. Anyway, there's an article at arcadeheroes.com. So does anyone know what happened to that Galaxian 3 that was at Fun World? Because I don't know. The Galaxian 3 that was at she said, at Fun Factor in British Columbia, it's still around, even though it was severely damaged in shipping. It was a complete and horrible disaster. That was at Fun Factor, Kamloops, BC. It's where the collectors plan on restoring it. If you can, you may try to pick up the investigation on Fun World. So I wanted to read this just to know if any of you out there know what happened to that Galaxian 3 at Fun World, because that is a very, 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 very rare game. There's only 2 or 3 of them in the whole world, and because it's so big, it's a bit of a liability, right? It's very easy for someone just to take a sledgehammer to it and get rid of it, which is what happens a lot to these big games. But this thing was bigger than any cockpit or driving game. It was literally the size of a garage. So anyway, if anyone knows what happened to the Galaxian 3, send me an email at john@johnsarcade.com. This one's from Michael. Hey, John, I'd like to get a couple of arcade games that are nostalgic from when I was a kid, but I really don't have the space for many cabinets, and the main route seems ruins some of the nostalgic feeling for me. How easy is it to modify one arcade game into another? I would really like a Simpsons, a Turtles, and a Gauntlet. I would think that the Simpsons and Turtle would be pretty easy to put a switch in, both being Konami and from close to the same year. So I'm 99% positive that Simpsons and Turtles and all those Konami 4-player games all have the exact same pinout, so you'd need some kind of a switcher or just swap the boards out. It is a flavor of JAMA, but it's modified. It's not exactly the same because of the 4 players. There's an extra harness on there, and some of the button mapping is different. But if you were going from a 4-player Simpsons to a 4-player Turtles, that should all be identical, and you could just board swap in there. But Gauntlet, no way that's the same. Gauntlet's going to be completely proprietary to Atari, and that's not JAMA. So the bottom line here is he's also seen several NBA Jams in my area pretty cheap. So all of those 4-player games are like the Konamis and the Midways. They're all like a flavor of JAMA, but they're all modified because JAMA by itself does not have enough wires in the pinout for more than 2 players, 2 joysticks. I think 6 buttons is the max. So actually less. I think it's 4 buttons. That's why, like on Street Fighter, there's a kick harness that adds those 2 other buttons. So anyway, the 4-player games, for the most part, are a modified proprietary version of JAMA. Like the base of them is JAMA, like the power and the video and all that, and some of the controls, but not all of the controls. So the short answer here is that those would be harder to make a switcher, but it would be easy to board swap if you stay within the same class, meaning like all the Konamis together. Now NBA Jam, though, I don't know if that shares like with Blitz or something. It might. You'd have to research. I mean, the easy way to find this stuff out is to Google the pinouts, like type in NBA Jam pinout, NFL Blitz pinout, and odds are those are exactly the same, and then do the same thing for Konami, 4-player Turtles pinout, 4-player Simpsons pinout. So anyway, to answer your question here, And actually, you guys, if you've done this before, have you done a switcher with like a 4-player Konami cabinet? Because I don't know how you would handle the extra wires and stuff. Because you couldn't just put a normal JAMA switcher in there, because then the other 2 players or whatever would not be connected to the board. So Mike, I don't know. Did I help you at all? The easiest thing to do would be to get like a 2-player JAMA cabinet with some sort of a switcher in there and put a bunch of 2-player JAMA games in there. And I think that like Vector Labs has made a lot of those JAMA switchers, and also Mike's Arcade. I used to have a 2-player JAMA switcher in my Street Fighter that I would switch to Atari Tetris, and that was a great little setup. All right, next one here from Scott. I guess we'll do 4. I was so inspired when you got your Firefox game that when the next one popped up, I jumped on the chance. Sadly, the laser disc is no good. Would you chance by know someone who has a Dexter board for sale? Oh boy, it's the last hurdle to overcome to complete the rehab. You know, it's funny, those guys did like a run of the Dexters and then they stopped. And the Dexter was like a laser disc replacement board. And then they did a second run. So if I were you, I would try to get a hold of, God, was it Matt Owensby? Try to get a hold of him. Send him an email and just see if he's planning on doing, I think, a 3rd run. I think they've done 2 runs now. Otherwise, you're going to have to post on Clove and Facebook to try to find a Dexter board. Or if someone has a Dexter board for Scott, could you send me an email, john@johnsarcade.com? I can put you guys together. And obviously, that Firefox has a really unique and rare Philips Laserdisc player, and mine, Franz still has. I never got it back. He says, any help would be appreciated. Love the show, and you're the best. I know you're a busy guy, but your vids are a highlight of my week. Thanks to you, my collection is up to 15 games. Here's a pick and enjoy. Your friend from Texas, Scott Weekert. So Scott sent some photos of his arcade. Let's go ahead and show them right here. So Scott, your arcade looks great. We share some similar tastes here. I see you've got a Ghostbusters, an RFM, you got a Tron, Donkey Kong, you got a Joust. I don't have a Joust. You have a Defender and Stargate and Asteroid. So we have some similar tastes here. I kind of want a Gorf. I would love to get a Gorf Cabaret. Like I feel like I want to get cabarets next. Like more cabarets down here. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for your patience, by the way. I know it's been 2 weeks. That's not because I didn't want to do a video, or I was actually away doing family stuff on a little family trip last weekend. That's it, okay? Sometimes I have to do family stuff. I can't do videos all the time, every single weekend. I try, though. So, anyway, thanks, guys, for watching, subscribing, all that. So the next video, I feel like we're going to go back and do the Mortal Kombat. I'm kind of into it right now, and I want to keep the momentum going. I'm excited to finish that kick plate and get those dowels off there, sand it down, Bondo it, and put the black vinyl on there. And I'm going to work on getting the Mortal Kombat side art very soon here. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'll see you very soon. Thanks for subscribing, all that. And of course, check out my podcast, Video Game Outsiders, at videogameoutsiders.com. We do the show live every Tuesday at riotcast.com, which is a comedy network. We also have an app that you can download for free and listen to the shows anytime during the week. Search for Video Game Outsiders on the iOS store or also Google Play. With the app, you get all of our weekly episodes for free, okay? And then also we do bonus content, including the John Show with John, where I do occasionally talk about arcade stuff. It's a short little 10, 15-minute podcast. And then also Michelle and I do a episode called Blank Outsiders, where we kind of take on one topic every week. That's all included with the premium $1.99 a month subscription charge. So anyway, enough of that. I'll see you guys very soon. Later, and bye.